ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz. On this week's episode, we'll be talking about the movie The Long Walk. But of course, before we get to any of that, I'm joined today by Not Stopping Nathaniel Ginger.
I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going. You can't stop me.
How long? This is open to the group. How long?
Not long. Not long.
All right.
I'm over 30, bro. I'm not long.
Okay. So not very long. So today, you don't think you?
Fuck no.
My friends and I got out of the movie and we were like, "Where's that line at? Like, could you do 12 hours straight?"
No, my feet would be broken by like hour 3. Like my flat feet would just, I'd be dead.
I'm very flat-footed as well, walking like, that long.
You've been to like Disneyland and stuff. At the end of the day, don't you just want to saw off your own feet?
Yeah. But I think a gun to my head would motivate me.
I was gonna say, I think this all comes down to like what's at stake here, right? If somebody was holding a gun to your like loved one's family or your family or your loved ones,
absolutely.
Like, you have to walk 24 hours to save their lives.
Walk
then,
until we could drop. And but I know my body. I'm saying my hour 36, my nubs are falling off and I'm dead. Like I'm the kid with the broken ankle. I know myself.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know if I could do 24 hours. Like, that's just.
Have you heard about the screenings with the treadmills?
Yeah, I have. I was actually, that does kind of look like, that is a cool.
That would be a
fun
challenge.
I could have found one of those.
Yeah.
That would be. Yeah. Because even walking the length of the movie, I mean, not that I couldn't do 2.5 or whatever it was. It was just over 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just under 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it's around 2.
The pace, though.
Yeah, I could obviously do that.
Yeah,
yes, but the 3
miles
an hour
pace of 3 miles an hour is like sneaky. That's much faster than you think it is.
Oh, it is. It 100% is.
Yeah,
which is slower than it was in the book.
Yeah. It's 4 miles.
What was it in the book?
4.
Whoa.
4? Yeah, that's dude. Like, you're hauling ass walking 4 miles an hour.
How long do they last in the?
I mean, that's 15-minute mile
book.
That's like that's running for some people.
Great, but you're walking that though. That's you're hauling ass, bro.
Like I think I would jog a 15-minute mile. Like, to be honest with you,
for sure.
Yeah, that's
so in the book. There's 100 of them, not 50.
Oh.
We'll get into it. We're still early here, folks.
Yeah,
Isn't it just? Anyways, I'm not stopping. But
he's not stopping Nathaniel.
But I'm not having a lot of hope.
But I'm not doing it over 12 hours.
Also joining us today is Charlie Horse Tyler Vidalis.
Dude, Charlie horses suck.
Dude, the worst.
I love giving them to somebody though. Like when we were just like sitting back in class, and then you just rock your homie in the fucking thigh, and you got him. So good.
See, I was a hydrated individual, so I really didn't have very many Charlie horse experiences.
Yeah, but we created them, so it was more or less just like punching your boy in the thigh.
Yeah. What was the one where you would like hit on your arm and then somewhere else, and you'd get like a bump?
Anyone else like do this? Fucking Kill Bill shit? What are you talking about? You trying to block my chakra flow, fool?
So it's similar to like Charlie Horse. It was a thing that I swear spread in like 7th or 8th grade around our school, where you'd like extend your forearm out and like someone would like kind of like wrap their knuckles on like the crook of your elbow and then maybe like an inch higher. And I think what would happen was you'd basically like make a little blood thing, but you'd see like the skin raise up a little bit basically between the two of them.
Weird. I never heard about that.
I can't remember what they were called though. Or maybe we've all just introduced like, micro strokes into our body and we'll all be toast in the next 6 years or something. Who knows? Probably got a
You're
blood
bumping
clot
my
there.
elbows.
Listeners, if anyone else knows what I'm talking about, please tell me I'm not alone in this. This is some craziness, apparently. Maybe it was just an
Weird ass
Arizona thing.
desert shit.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is one of those. If your school's in the bottom 30,000 rankings, you hear about this. This is what we have at the what was it, 17,000 to 23,000 level of stuff to do to pass the time. There's no actual organized sports. We're just punching each other.
Sounds about right.
Anyway,
Organized sports are so fascist, it makes me sick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that's the sign of a true fascist state is team sports. We must end youth soccer. Man. Rounding out the squadron today is Big Hill BlakeHolder.
What on, fellas?
Got a big hill in your
Big
backyard?
hill, huh?
The big hill.
Yeah.
No. There was a big hill I used to ride my bike down as a kid. It wasn't in my neighborhood though. It was one of those we had to like move over a few neighborhoods. Like we had to like travel to it, but that was the cool thing to do. Ridiculously dangerous in hindsight when you like think about being a young child just going down a hill as fast as you can on a bike.
Yeah.
Totally insane.
My brother wiped
No helmets,
out,
no anything.
definitely going down like a big hill around our neighborhood one time. But like he had like one of those it wasn't like a bike, but it was like a pedal quad almost.
Okay.
Those kind of thing. And he was like came down and tried to take it too much. And unfortunately with a bike you kind of just you can skid it. He kind of just flipped it. But he was okay. He was wearing a helmet, that kind of thing. But
That's good.
yeah, man. Hills are crazy. Bikes are crazy. Being a kid's crazy.
It is. Being an adult is also crazy. Who would have thought?
Being alive is crazy. Let's be real.
It's one weird trip, bro.
Yeah, I think about it daily. I'm like, what the hell?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, what is all this?
Speaking of big, did you guys ever have to do like hill runs? That kind of thing?
No, we didn't do hill runs. We had running day
hills?
once a week where it's like one day dedicated to just you would run laps or run around the
Wait,
track.
are you talking about in like PE or
like training or anything like that kind of?
Oh, yeah, like in like
every once in a while?
youth practice, like that was the punishment for sure. Like running a hill, you know what I mean?
Those fascists made me run up hills all the time.
You're sick.
Yeah, we for conditioning after like football practice,
Yeah,
we had like
that's
a
kinda what I was
rotation of
thinking.
things we could do. It was either like run a mile or it was like hills. And yeah, you were just the worst. Just up and down for like 30 minutes.
There was one hill in Aberystwyth, Wales, that at the university was at the top of the hill, and it was the only hill I've ever been on that I had to take a break like halfway through. It was so damn steep. I was just like, oh, I am puffed by the end of this. And that was at sea level. Like it was down there on the coast. But yeah, I will think about that one occasionally. It's not like Illinois is flat, boys. I gotta tell you as well too.
Yep.
You go south.
You go anywhere.
Very like
Yeah, I don't even know. Do you get into like the rolling hills of the Midwest and Southern Illinois, or is that like once you get closer to like Appalachia, like you probably got to get to like Indiana or Southern Ohio?
Yeah,
right.
right
Is that
next
more
to
of
the
the rolling hills?
Mississippi. Like
We have
very
pretty good hiking down in
southwestern.
Southern Illinois.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
That is
talking about
true.
like full blown bluffs, like all this shit. Like wow, that shit. It's totally different state down there.
Yeah.
But you are
Well, the
you are close.
glaciers. The glaciers stopped in Southern Illinois. That's why it's all so flat.
Whatever,
up until
nerd.
then. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the review here, gentlemen. For all squared away, one I'm pretty excited to talk about. Nathaniel, if the listener here is new or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how our review segment works?
Hello, folks. If you're new or you've just forgotten, the way the review segment works here on Back Row Banter is it is split into two sections. There's the non-spoiler section, and then there's the spoiler section. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the movie itself, who wrote it, who directed it, who's in it, all that good stuff. Most of the stuff you'll find on the IMDb page, including the IMDb summary. Got to decide if that's a good summary or not. Also got to decide if we would recommend this movie. The way we do that is going around the quadrant, deciding, if we say yes or no. After that, it'll be spoiler time. If you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, you can check out, but, check the show notes to see where you can check back in and get out of spoiler time, and also see where we rank it up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we watched on the podcast ranked. With that being said, Adam, tell me about The Long Walk.
I would love to. This is a new movie rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 48 minutes and an IMDb rating of 7.4 out of 10. It is. Where's the cast list? It disappeared on me. Un momento. Do that. Here we go. We directed by Francis Lawrence, who directed. Did he direct all of the Hunger Games or just the last 3?
All of them except
did,
the
like,
first
all 4.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also did the prequel.
Correct. He did do the prequel
The prequel.
recently. And then he did Red Sparrow, one of my least favorite movies.
You're also missing one of arguably his best movie,
Which is
I Am Legend.
Constantine, man.
That's his first one
Oh.
too. He's
Yeah.
like, I was going through his filmography
seen
the other day. It's like it's only music videos before that, and then it's just Constantine, and then it's music
And that
videos again
movie
for
is-
a bit. Like,
Yeah, right. I think before he gets into some of the Hunger Game joints. But yeah, Constantine is good, man. One we may have to put on the short list. I'm not gonna lie to you, fellas.
also,
it was good.
Adam,
It
I
was
want
good
you
to get
Yeah,
go ahead.
sorry, Blake, you're 100% correct.
No.
Constantine is
go ahead.
actually awesome. We should get it on the Entropy list. We should all check it out because that movie rules. I just saw it for the first time a few
I'll
years ago.
add it to the short list.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it during COVID.
Wow.
That was one of the ones that I like.
Wow.
I was working and Mag, and I put it on the big screen in Mag one day during when we
Yeah.
were in like lockdown. But what I was gonna say is I need everyone to look at Francis Lawrence IMDb like profile picture and tell me that's not director Bradley Cooper.
I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
the same exact
Dude,
thought.
like
Yeah.
what? Like,
I think it's probably mostly the angle that they're
it
taking
is.
that
It
photo
really
from.
is. But that photo is
But-
catfishing
the
everyone
fact-
on IMDb.
Yeah, man. The fact that it gets that close. Although now that I'm looking at pictures of him on set, it's not okay, maybe it's not just the angle. I mean, it's not like he looks exactly like him, but they could be
Mhm.
brothers, that kind of thing. That's crazy.
That's funny.
hilarious. Yeah. Cool. Directed by Mr. Francis Lawrence. Dude, this thing keeps going away. Written by J.T. Molnar and of course based on the novel by Mr. Stephen King. The cast includes Cooper Hoffman. David Johnson returns. You guys might have seen him on the podcast in Alien Romulus. Garrett Waring, I think is how you pronounce it. Tut Nyot, Charlie Plummer, Ben Wang, and I think there's a few other. There's Jordan Gonzalez and Joshua Ojic, and then of course Mr. Mark Hamill is here as well. I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'll shout out Judy Greer as well. She's
Yeah,
here,
that's fair.
although not a ton, but she is here. Okay, cool. That's most of your cast. It's a pretty big cast of characters that we have here. The IMDb summary reads as follows. A group of teenage boys compete in an annual contest known as the Long Walk, in which they must maintain a certain walking speed or get shot. It's a very
Well.
blunt summary, but kind of accurate, I would say.
Yeah.
Pretty good. How are we feeling here, fellas?
Pretty decent. I think the walking aspect has a pretty cool pacing to a movie that you don't necessarily get with other movies, because there's literally a pace that this movie has to go. I like the I like what's at stake. It's funny that he did like all the Hunger Games and everything like that, and he's basically doing walking games. That's what this movie could have been called. So
Walk
it's
Royale.
very it's funny that they were just like, you know how to like do movies where there's like, you know, you like kids die if they don't win things, right? And he's like, yeah, dude, that's like my fucking wheelhouse. And so they were like, all right, cool, let's do this thing. So yeah, you know, he was perfect for directing this movie. But overall, you know, I think acting wise, everybody did really good. It is funny that I would really enjoy seeing a version of this movie where there isn't as much dialogue. We talk about, you know, movies that are out there that don't have a ton of dialogue but are really strong. And it's pretty remarkable when you get those movies that are able to do that. So it would be interesting to see a version of this where like maybe there isn't as much talking, because when you're talking about like walking to save your life, you would think that conserving energy and protecting your respiratory system would be like top priority, not just like talking all the time. But I understand that, you know, like dialogue to have a movie and everything like that. So it would just be interesting to potentially see a more hardcore version of this movie, based on like facial emotions, you know, maybe some very impactful lines that maybe don't have to do with a ton of stuff. But yeah, obviously you can tell that Cooper Hoffman and David do a ton of the lifting in this movie. From an acting standpoint, I think that they killed it. I loved David in Romulus, and I think that he's only gotten better into this. So I think this is a really, really great performance from him, and I already really thought he was very strong coming off Romulus. So overall, I enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty fun. I like the concept. I think it was pretty well done. And yeah, I guess that's kind of it for now.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I'll kind of jump in. I mean, I went into this one blind as I always do, needless to say. And in fact, I wasn't even sure what this movie was until we were recording last week, and then Nathaniel brought up that, hey, this is the next recording. I was like, what is that movie? Then he kind of gave me a quick breakdown. I was like, all right, whatever. Went to go check it out. And honestly, like, I think it's grown on me over time. So I saw it Monday night, and like walking out of it, I was a little warm to it, but it wasn't like my favorite movie. But like now I haven't digested it for about a few days, and I feel like I like it more now over time. I think it's one of those. So it's kind of hard to not get into spoilers, I guess, when talking about it. But yeah, I mean, the commentary this film has, for lack of a better term, is very relevant to how many people feel about the current society, right? Let alone in North America. So it's really interesting to see some of that. As we've mentioned, or as Tyler's mentioned, right, David does a lot of the heavy lifting in this. Cooper as well, Cooper Hoffman. It's kind of the first thing I've really known him to be in, and I feel like he carried a lot of weight in this, a lot of in-depth analysis to his character, full circle moments, some vulnerable speeches and monologues as well. So yeah, honestly, it's one like didn't have the highest expectations. Went into it kind of blind, left, and I was like, it's okay. And like 2 days later, it's like, you know what? I think I actually like it. So I guess that's kind of my quick breakdown. Then obviously we'll chat about it in spoilers and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of my quick thoughts. Adam?
I'm on board with everything you guys are saying. I'm probably a little bit higher than both of you guys. It seems like I really kind of movie started right away with that I mean, minor spoiler, but the the title card, if you will, or the opening kind of crawl, the opening letter, and I was immediately kind of like, you've got my attention, and I wasn't sure what to expect coming into this movie because every Stephen King adaptation varies widely in terms of what you're gonna get, and this I just wasn't sure what kind of movie this was gonna be, or at least how how it would feel after 148 minute or an hour 48 runtime. But yeah, I mean, as soon as that opening kind of title card came on, I was kind of invested right away and a little bit skeptical to start, and then just kind of like really enjoyed what I was seeing and enjoyed the characters. They really introduce you to each character really well. You kind of grow to care about them pretty quickly and kind of have your band of like musketeers that you're rooting for and everything. And then, it's impressive that they kind of pulled off this concept the way they did, because, they are just walking the whole movie, but the way that you stay invested, the way that the scene and to Tyler's point, the pacing of the movie, the way the movie moves, no pun intended there, obviously. It was very impressive to me that a movie like this, um, a movie with this concept turned out the way it did, and I was invested pretty much the whole way through. And again, to Blake's point as well, like I really liked it watching it. I really liked it immediately after the movie, and it is one of those movies that I like kept thinking about a couple days later. I saw this on Friday. It's Wednesday now, and I'm still kind of like having that in the back of my mind, replaying certain moments or certain lines and stuff like that. And that's the testament, I think, of a really good movie. So, really enjoyed this. Definitely not like a movie of the year candidate for me, but it's up there. It's quietly probably in the upper third or upper quarter of like all the movies that have come out this year that I've seen. It is pretty good. Would recommend. Nathaniel?
Yeah, I just kind of echoing where all the boys are on this one. I would say on initial watch, I appreciated the movie. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it a whole bunch. Like it was just kind of like at end of a long week, sat down, watched it in the theaters, and I was like, man, I understand everything that movie's going for, and I really think they crafted a heck of a movie. I don't know if I was like entertained a ton during that time, and then 4 days later, I'm still thinking about it at certain parts as well too, and I have to like kind of reflect on that as like it being pretty indicative of it being pretty effective at what it wants to do. So, and I think in reflection, my appreciation and my kind of enjoyment of its elements has grown. I mean, that's not to say it's not a bleak movie. You're kind of know what you're getting into on this one, but it's a good one to go in as blind as possible on. Like I wouldn't watch a trailer if you could.
Facts.
I think it sets itself up for that, but like at the same time, it's definitely a horror movie, and it is it's got some things to say as well too. So if you think you might be a little bit squeamish about that kind of thing, we've talked about like the Hunger Games, and like this is Francis Lawrence on it. This is definitely R-rated Hunger Games as well too. Like there is no we're not going for the PG-13 get all the money in from the kids audience here.
No, it is does not shy away from being rated R.
So and then again to kind of I think echo what the boys are saying, there was like a moment early on in the movie where I was like, "Ooh, like they are just gonna be walking. Okay, this is gonna be an interesting test to see how we can kind of handle this and keep this interesting visually, narratively, like just the movement itself of the movie." So yeah, I think all those things that we've all kind of like the guys have touched on are all definitely little bits of this, and I'm gonna be a recommend as well too.
Cool. Well then, 4 recommends, which is always good to hear. Glad everyone enjoyed it here. If you have not seen the movie then and do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead and check the episode description where you left a timestamp you can jump to, where you'll be taken to the ranking of the movie up upon our Entropy list. With that being said, spoiler time. Nathaniel, please provide us and our listeners with a fun-filled spoiler noise.
Warning 1. First warning. That's what it is. My bad. Let's take that back again.
Yeah, it's number 47. First warning or something like that.
There you go. So Jojo Rabbit gets his head blown off about 20 minutes into this movie.
Yeah.
He gone.
And that's when you know. I was like, damn it, where do I know that kid from? Then it was afterwards. Then I was like, ah, yeah. Yeah, he was hanging out with Hitler Taika Waititi.
Okay.
Check them out. It's a true story. It's a real
No,
movie.
I know it is.
Everyone knows
I know
what we're
it
talking
is.
about. Didn't that movie win awards?
It's true.
We're just leaving myself out here. All right.
It is true.
Yeah, man. Shit goes down.
Sure does.
We go from 50 to 1.
Yeah, it's man, I don't know. This movie, it's impressive to me that they pulled this kind of thing off. As we've already kind of talked about, it's like your characters are just walking the whole time. Like, and in book form, that's way different because you have dialogue, you have internal dialogue, you have, I'm sure, dialogue between characters and everything like that. Like, and you're not physically watching the characters walk. Like, you have a lot of space that's not used there. And I haven't read the book, to clarify. I don't want to sound like I have. I haven't read the book. I'm interested to read the book because I'm interested to see where the differences lie and also see what else the book has to say about this whole concept and the world we're in here. But yeah, man, it's impressive to have them pull something like this off. I don't know where even know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you, right? I mean, kind of going into it, one thing I thought was once you have an idea of how the film's going to play out, and it's like, okay, like how are they going to get the viewer to buy into this for essentially 2 hours?
Yeah.
Right? We're like, you're going to have people walking and it's going to be a ton of dialogue, and like there's no way they're just going to list off the people dying one by one. So like obviously there's kind of deaths that happen. I don't want to say off screen, but like more so in the background, or perhaps like while a certain character is sleeping in that day. I guess I'd have to go back and actually do the math. I don't think we actually see 49 people die. Right? It's probably something along the lines of 12-ish, 13.
They lose a lot
Maybe a
on
little
the
bit more
first
than that,
night
but-
sequence with the hill.
Yeah.
I know they lose
yeah.
over half, I think, at that point. And then I think you're right. I think like maybe later on we don't see it whittle down as much because I think later after that he's like, oh, there's 15, and then there's 5
Yeah,
or
you just hear
something.
rumblings of that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You're like, okay, how are they going to pull that off to keep the viewers interested in the entire concept? And I mean, I feel like they do it successfully, right? A lot of that has to do with dialogue and just anytime I would get immersed in the world or in the scene, there are constant like warning number 2 for number 46, right? You do hear that in the background a lot to kind of give you the validation, like, okay, well, they're definitely just killing people in the background, but like it's just not necessarily audible or in the forefront of what audio is being driven because there's a direct conversation between the main characters.
Yeah, and it's the. So I think King said that this was the first story he wrote, but it was not his first book that was published. So this was the first one. He wrote this at 19, and this was and he like kind of just strung it together and then published it later, actually much later under the name Richard Bachman. So this is one of them where he's writing as a pseudonym because he'd basically taken over the horror market at a certain point. And like, it's that classic like 70s, 80s high concept creation text kind of thing where it's like, okay, here's the thing. You're going to walk and you're going to walk at this rate and you can't do it. And then you just play it out. But they play it out so faithfully, not faithfully. What's the word I want to talk about? Like not realistically, but like I guess like to the letter. Like as the viewer, I'm sitting there like, oh, I remember having not read the book. I was like, at the first night coming up, being like, oh yeah, okay, so they'll stop now, and then they'll see, and then it was like, no, they're keeping going. It was like, oh shit, and then the first guy has to shit, and you're just like, yep, that's absolutely something that would happen. Like, what do we do now? And then you just see it, like it all plays out in front of you, and you're just like, oh my god, like we are just.
Yeah.
And that kind of like slow dawning on the viewer, I think it is great. I love the start where we start with Ray in the kind of like that thing of you know, oh, I've got to do this for, you know, my family and stuff, and like even how I think it's a low angle shot as they come in like up to the barrier and everyone's kind of sitting down, and then like at first you're just kind of like, oh, people are hanging out, but then like it slowly starts to build up from there of like, no, we're conserving energy, and then like the world starts to build, and like that's stuff that I think is on the script level. It has to be, right? Like
Right.
and the guy that wrote this, I know, also wrote Strange Darling, which is not a movie I've seen, but I know a lot of people really, really like, and I still need to get to.
That makes some sense, and you absolutely need to get to that.
Yeah.
And that movie, I'm not. This will be my last point. Do not.
Yeah. I'm trying. I've kept myself away so far. So like, I think
yeah.
he's really good at kind of like the same thing that Zach Kreger is demonstrating is like drip feeding or knowing when the audience is going to get information and how a fresh audience is going to view the movie, and that kind of like headspace that they're going to take him through. And I think all of that is what really elevates this movie past your kind of standard Stephen King fare. Overall, it's much more of that kind of propulsive feel. I guess it's going to have a lot more kind of like in common with a Mad Max in some ways, Fury Road, that is, where it is almost like just that one long direction, because they are just walking in one way for so long of the movie. But yeah, and it absolutely plays that great trick of you start to ask yourself, how long could I do this? How would I participate in this thing? What would my feelings be like? And then it does, I think, a really admirable job with the main characters, and then obviously their kind of core group of guys that end up playing into it as well too. And then obviously the other kind of main character in this as well.
Yeah, which I didn't know Mark Hamill was in this. So
sure,
when I heard his voice, I was like, "Is that?" And then you see him, and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Takes a heavy sack.
Yeah, and he does give some good lines in this one too. And I love the bit where they're all like, "Dude, you know what? F you, F the long walk. Like this sucks, all this." And he goes, "That's the spirit."
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think he's really fun in this. And man, I need Mark Hamill in more things, especially acting in more things. But anyway, yeah, the main characters here are really good, and the main actors too. I didn't realize Cooper Hoffman had no idea that's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son.
PSH.
Just learned that looking at his IMDb. But he's really good. Like him and I'm forgetting the other gentleman's name already. David Johnson.
I always want to call him Aronson for some reason. I don't know why. It's the two S's sound like Scandinavian.
Sure. Both of them, I mean, carry this movie to a degree, I would say.
Yeah. My only complaint would be I feel like David definitely reads older than 16 or 17, however old they're supposed to be in this.
Yeah. To be fair, I feel like that's
but
a lot
of
the cast.
That's Hollywood,
once
right?
you kind of get the age.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which is partially why I think the casting of the Jojo Rabbit kid is helpful, and like the fact that he is like everyone's like, nah, you're way younger, bro. Like you shouldn't be here, kind of thing. I do think this movie does a good job of like you get your ticket punched. Like it doesn't actually let you know that it is fully killing people until that first kill as well
happens,
too. Yeah. Sorry, Adam, you were talking. I don't need to.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, like those two characters really carried it. The movie, and they had great chemistry together. Because when you have a movie that's so dialogue heavy, you need the actors to kind of be able to handle that, and I think they absolutely do. And just the way they kind of just get you to care about both those characters too. And as you were saying, I think that goes hand in hand, of course, with the writing and the way not only the way that, as Nathaniel was saying, like the viewer is fed information, but about the story, but also fed information about the characters. Like they do very deliberate kind of planting seeds a little bit of like, oh, there's some backstory here, but the character doesn't want to bring it up right now, so we'll get to that later, and then just set that up a little bit. And then as the story goes on, and you kind of feel and see the desperation of the characters, and kind of like you realize like you get into the end of the rope, like, and you see it physically on them in terms of costume design, makeup, and all that stuff, and just the way they're acting. Like the tension definitely builds with like every step, and then you hit that hill scene, and it's like, all right, well, you are down to the last 18 people, whatever it is, and I think it builds pretty well.
And I think too, like on that, like again, like not manipulating, but like talking or understanding audience information of like that. There's that moment where like after the first kill, you're almost like, well, they all knew that this was going to, like, they've all presumably seen this before and understand that this was thing, but like you definitely kind of almost feel that like you understand that they're all 16 and they don't think that they would actually die too. They haven't fully confronted that as well too, and I feel like that's a good element of buy-in for the viewer as well too, as opposed to a Hunger Games where it is like you're chosen and you're basically going to die. There's something about like everyone at the start of this where you're just like, none of you actually realize that like this is this, and that's like that ties into the tragedy of it in some ways, I think too, and like
that and the part that they're volunteers at the end of the day.
Well,
and obviously they have the line,
but
right?
You
have the line.
They have a good conversation about that.
But you don't know that until like midway through the movie. So I think that's in the back of your mind in terms of viewership of like, oh wow, why would anyone volunteer for it? And then it's obviously revealed later. You don't really have a choice because your other option is to basically live in poverty until you die, that kind of thing. Like,
and well, and building off that, I like the choices of like Ray is from the state that they're walking in. I think that's a like you talk about how do you keep like the viewer interested for those 2 hours and stuff. Like you can tie that into your main character, and it's like, well, why do you do that? Because he's the main character. He's our point of view character, right? Or that's what we're gonna take from it. And I think that particularly that scene. I mean, shout out Judy Greer. She's amazing all the time. But that scene she
was really good at
with
this.
him and when they're there and he's already gone through so much, and then his like that moment where she's like, "No, you walk right now," kind of thing, like trying to get him to go as well too. Yeah, it's good stuff. Anytime anyone stops in this movie, I love everyone in the audience is just like, "Oh fuck, here we go." Like,
yeah, because I mean, it's like your internal clock goes off of like, oh shit, like, and then there's one point I think he turns around. I think the character's Arthur, where he turns around for Olsen.
Yeah.
And then Ray turns around for Arthur. He's like, I can't lose both of you right now. Yeah, and that just reminds me of like a point you were saying earlier, Nathaniel, of like, pretty smart movie in the terms of like the things that you think would play out of like, all right, well, someone's got to, how do you go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. But then it becomes like, the hill thing wasn't something I was considering until it happens. The rain wasn't something I was considering until it happens. And then the one thing for me too is like, well, then, you get to the point of like, all right, well, you've got your friends kind of, because, might as well have some companionship on the walk, whatever. But then it becomes the one, bigger guy, the bastard son of the major is like, hey, like, we really shouldn't be helping each other anymore.
I thought that
like,
was...
Yeah,
that was a really interesting point.
Kind of the point where that should fall off.
Well, like, and his whole thing of like not even like that it would help each other, but it's almost like we're prolonging each other's suffering by helping each other, which I thought was a really interesting element that he brought into it. He's like, each time you're going to help each other, you're just making this longer for the rest of us, and like we're all suffering at this point. I thought that was a really interesting element that he kind of like delivered into that as well too.
Right.
And I think like from changes from the book, like I think there is more representation in this movie, i.e. like the guy from Sioux Falls like has kind of like a native background and like the different thing, and I think that's all really interesting. Like even the I really liked Art from Louisiana and like kind of his whole thing, and like I think setting it in the different states with the different boys had that kind of different culture mixing kind of thing to it, and
Yeah.
added a little bit more stuff in there, which is I don't think is present in the book. His actually Art's death, I think, was one of the more affecting scenes for me, with the when
I totally agree.
when Pete's like, "Hey man, you made some good friends." And like
Yeah.
that whole bit, even more, I felt like than the
Yeah.
kind of like other stuff, which I kind of like, you kind of know is coming. And like, I almost
Mhm.
think like the Johnson Hoffman stuff peaks earlier with the Moments speech and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But like that was definitely the one that was very affecting, I think, to me overall, in that one. And like,
I agree.
and Ray taking the cross on, which
The
he
cross,
doesn't
yeah.
actually give on to Pete either, which I think is an interesting choice to have as well, and everything. Yeah, I think the movie's smart, to Adam's point. I like, again, I can't say I at any point felt like happy or entertained during the
Sure.
movie. But like, I do think it is really good, and I think it's a good thing with a little bite to it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, Tyler, you've been quiet for a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of letting you guys talk. Adam's got a lot to make up for, so I figured I'd be quiet this week a little bit. But no, honestly, you guys have been pretty spot on. I just it is interesting.
When did you see this?
When did I see it?
Yeah.
What's today? Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Monday.
Okay.
Okay, same as me.
Yeah.
So is it like us that you've also been kind of thinking about it a little bit in the interim and that stuff, or is it more you
to
were?
an extent? I think it's definitely one of those movies that kind of sits with you a little bit, and it's interesting that you were like, I wasn't having fun. Like, it's one of those movies that really, it's kind of like Requiem in that sense. Like, you
Sure.
enjoy the movie, but at the end of the day, it's not something that you want to like watch again, because it is relatively visceral in a sense. And so I like that aspect of it. It's definitely not one of those movies that is like a feel good movie. Like, even though what is it, Pete gets kind of gets to where he wants to,
Gets
he
$1
ends up winning.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly, which is also interesting because in the book it is flipped.
Yeah, I had heard that as well too. There's a little bit of a different ending overall, from what I understand.
Yeah, essentially. Sorry,
Well,
for whatever reason my
are you
IMDb is being
gonna spoil it for Adam?
trash. Huh?
So you're gonna spoil it for Adam? He's saying he wants to read the book.
I mean, what do we say about really old movies?
It's a brand new movie, brother.
Yeah, I know, but the book's not new.
True.
So,
It is different.
You're here at your own expense.
All right, buddy.
But no, it's interesting because it's at the end of the day, if you're gonna read the book, someone wins. So
Right.
the premise of the story, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Spoiler alert: there's 100 of them instead of 50. What? So yeah, it's flipped. So again, it's just it's an interesting way that they kind of just have like these little nuances that are different from the book, but overall same outcome.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to, once you find out, because like in the beginning they're all like, what are you gonna wish for? What are you gonna wish for? And he's like, it's like a secret, and it could change, how this is all. And it's funny because is Hamill the head of the dragon? Like, what is it gonna change? It's not gonna change anything. You know what I mean? So
not.
I thought that was
kind of.
Go ahead. I'll back it up afterwards.
No, I was just saying, like, that's kind of one of those things where it's like you kind of have to have the suspension of belief there. You have to just kind of think that will change something in order for this to kind of work. Because at the end of the day, you would have to think that that's not going to change anything. In a sense, too, just because the overall scale of the movie, you would you kind of get the sense that this is almost like regionalized. This isn't like worldwide. Like these guys aren't all from around the world. It almost seems like
it's just America. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems smaller than that. For me, it almost is like you have a Midwest, an East. You know, it almost goes by like time zone. Like it just doesn't necessarily seem that big. And you know, that's, you know, I'm sure that's a on purpose choice. But it just makes you seem like, or it would make you feel like, if you think of how big this potentially is, it just, in my mind, that was like one of my biggest gripes. It just, that wouldn't really change anything at all.
I think you're kind of like picking up on a few things that I think do make it interesting, to your point of like, we as a viewer never see the broadcast of what is actually going out. Like, we are in essence just locked in with the boys on the road the whole time. We never get a glimpse out into the wider view. And I think that does bring up questions to like what you're talking about of like, well, is the major really that big of a deal kind of thing? Is it almost like he's a Joe Rogan or something like that, right? And he like he has like kind of no, I'm serious, like a you know, a leading figure, and this is like a thing that he does kind of thing from the military, and everyone places bets on it, and that's a huge economy driver or something. We never get that view. It could very much be just a bunch of dudes on a road somewhere kind of thing. I mean, I guess the world around it, the like text at the start and like the promise of the money and like a kid bought an elephant or whatever, like that's all like there to add tangible details. But like, it's a weird, like, I think it's making more of a statement. It feels like a movie that's smart enough to know what it's saying by not including that stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was very interesting. And again, I didn't read the book, so I'm just kind of only pulling things from, you know, what I've read or what I've heard. But it's interesting that people aren't allowed to watch other than the broadcast
end kind of thing, or
unless you're on the route, you're obviously allowed to walk out to the street or, you know, like be, you know, like on your property, but people aren't allowed to like line the streets. So again, that kind of gives you a different sense of scale to how big it is. They never really let you know.
Yeah, and even too, like the fact that it's like on a road. Like, the long walk, you wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, well, it's like, you know, just down a desolate highway basically the whole time kind of thing.
Yeah, for 400 miles.
Yeah.
The other movie that I thought about kind of after watching this was like Rollerball.
Oh, sure.
It's another sport you're playing to, you know, like essentially get your freedom from whatever organization is running it, and they think that, you know, taking over that small instance in that stadium is going to change the world, but it's not. Like, at the end of the day, that's like there's so much more. So that's kind of under like one of the really like random kind of smaller movies that I don't think a lot of people would know about, that I immediately like went to, and I was like, this is kind of like rollerball. It's just a sport. Like, so yeah, it's very interesting. But I like the fact that they did put it like, you know, on a road in the middle of nowhere on a walk. So,
which was definitely one of my like things that where I was like, you would, by the 5th or 6th year of this, you would have dudes that were like long distance prodigies that are like volunteering for this kind of shit. Like, which also like leads me into thinking of being like, well,
District
maybe
1, dude.
Well,
right. That's where my head went.
Well, it also makes me wonder, like, are they selecting these people on purpose? Like, are they saying it's a lottery, but really they're just picking dudes that they know kind of
for
thing,
sure,
or like are a part of this and that kind of stuff? Because you would think,
you see
like,
a guy show up, he's like sponsored by Nike, like,
what
the fuck is this?
Yeah, like he's got all the gels on him.
He's like, dude, what are you talking? I'm in my fucking steel toe work boots. These things weigh 10 pounds,
bro. The dude that showed up in Converse. Can we have a talk about that guy? Like, brother,
insane.
Yeah, no shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think You guys all have valid points as well, and I think my kind of biggest takeaway from it at the end is just how relevant this is, because this looks like this takes place, and you'd have to imagine like what, World War One, World War Two,
I think in
World War Two, maybe
in the
like,
novel it's set right after Vietnam, or it's like, or no,
okay,
sorry.
I knew it was a while ago.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It is like it's supposed to be Cold War. It's the novel was written
Okay.
at the time of Vietnam and is a lot of times seen as like a commentary on Vietnam of like senselessly just sending people out to get slaughtered kind of thing.
Mhm.
But,
Gotcha.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
no worries. So yeah,
the book is like post World War II, but like this is kind
Okay.
of like a nowhere time. It seems.
yeah, it's hard to put a time period on it, a time and place on it.
The cars are like 50s, 60s, but like the like gear and tanks and stuff seem more modern and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
They're dressed kind of modern as well.
Yeah, and like
they
there's
don't
a
seem-
camera
Yeah, it
on the
almost looks
tank, like that
Right.
that like kind of
Right,
seems
yeah.
more futuristic, but like at the same time, no one's got a cell phone, right? And like there's not like the people that are watching aren't recording it as well too, and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and like
There's a radio.
there's a radio.
There is radio. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's kind of one of my biggest interests was you can't really put a time period on it, which almost has a larger impact on how the viewer sees the film. It's kind of hard to piece it to point in history, I guess, is all the verbiage I'm looking for. Nonetheless, I think what I want to get to is that it's amazing how, despite whatever time period this film takes place in, is that the message of that still like rings true today. But there's so many themes and whatnot to come back from this, between
Yeah.
like how do people feel about like politicals and political parties and showcases of power. How do people feel about like building friendships with people despite seeing differences with each other? And it's all things that were in a story that was, to Nathaniel's point, written in post Vietnam, right? And we're now in 2025, right? And like the shit still 100% rings true, right? And I think that's kind of this testament to it, and especially with all the things that has obviously occurred recently in America as well, in terms of like, is like, for lack of a better term, vigilantism the answer? Is violence the answer, right? And I think this film addresses some of that as well at the end, because you have the Peter character who is probably the most like morally sensible person
Yeah.
of them all, right? And he ultimately makes the decision, right, for him, violence is the answer at the end, right? So despite all these
Yeah.
positive and productive conversations we've had for whatever it is, 4 days straight, right?
Yeah.
It's like when I'm faced with the challenge at the end of the day, it's like, no, like I'm no different than anybody else who lined up here. So it's just really interesting, man, and it's fascinating. I think that's kind of the heavy moment to me. However, though, I guess what I would say as well, and I want to go back and rewatch it. Does anyone think like perhaps like maybe is it Peter?
Pete.
Is his name
Yeah.
Patrick? Pete. Does he not kill the major? Maybe because like I think it may be in his head, because there's all the people around, right? There's the fireworks going off. He points the carbine at the major, and the major's like, "Hey, like, oh, like take it easy. Like, there's no consequences yet."
Yeah.
In essence of like, if you shoot me, you're obviously going to get fried. There's
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
2 military officers standing 3 feet away from you. And like, we don't see the repercussions of any of that. Like, he basically shoots the major, and like, there's nobody on the street anymore. There's no fireworks going off anymore. There's no cheers from the crowd anymore. So I guess, like, how did you guys take that? Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if that's kind of in his head. Is the ambiguity at the end of the film, is that intentional, or like, did you guys read into that, or what?
Yeah, I think like for me, I read it as like that's where it becomes more metaphorical, and it's almost like that, like for America, the answer is always violence, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
That was a little bit of how I kind of read it overall. I think in the book, it's talked about that like the like survivor just kind of like, I don't know if he just ignores the major or like the wind, but like he sees like a dark figure in front of him and thinks it's another walker and just kind of keeps walking. and that's the kind of like end overall. And I think that's kind of talked about and kind of tied in with this. I don't mind the change. I think it's maybe more like of a, and that kind of like reflection. I think you bring up a good point of like I almost read it more as like the kind of like what they referred to a couple times in the movie where they're like, if you did it, like there's no one saying that you couldn't, and like you would have just won, everyone else would be shocked kind of thing. That's almost, I read it more like literally, like he iced him and got away with it and kind of just kept walking, and everyone else couldn't really do it. But I think that's what the ambiguity is for. Sure. Genuinely, like I think that's why you end a movie like that. It's so we can have this conversation afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted to give a shout out to I believe his name's Charlie Plummer. He plays Barkovich, the kind of other antagonist walker that's with them that causes the other kid to like he's the troll kind of guy.
Is that the guy who ends up committing suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like immediately, like as I was watching, and the first kind of scene, they're all together, and he makes a joke or something, and like tries to do something like 2 or 3 minutes after someone else does, and I was like, oh, that's one of those people. Like as an archetype of like just the crazy person that, you know, like that just never really fits in and kind of like is always a bit afterwards and kind of thing, and then like later on has that kind of like, I'm not that bad of a guy, like, you know, like, and like will get other people to act out of them, but then like almost upset at themselves. Like all of that just felt so realistic to other kind of those people that I've met in my life before, where you're just like, you're not right, and I can't understand like how you're going to react at any given moment. And then he has that great moment with Cooper later on, where right before he's about to go, and Cooper's kind of like, I'm going to go talk to Pete real quick and just let him know that you're in on the plan, right? Like, that's okay kind of thing. And you're almost like, yeah, man, you need to get away right now because this dude's coming apart fast.
That was a very tense moment of like, you don't really know what this guy could do. Like, is he about to trip him? Is he about to stab him in the leg?
And then like earlier he was like, I have plans for you, Pete, and that kind of thing. And you're like, okay, well, how does that play out in this kind of thing? Right. I thought that was a really good role that could have very easily become just like the villain character, but like had a lot of extra nuance to it.
For sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
when he said he's got plans for him, I just immediately went to that line from Ted where the kid's like, stand up straight when you're talking to me. And he's like, why the fuck would he say that?
Yeah. It's yeah, I think there's a lot I think the characters are pretty good in this overall. Or the performances, I should say. The characters are pretty good, I would say. Yeah. I don't know. Good movie, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I did enjoy this. But before we head out, we got to talk about the level of gore that was in this movie, because I was not expecting it. And every time I thought, oh, it can't get worse than this, it gets worse.
Someone runs over someone's legs with the tank.
Yeah, man. There was that. It was the close up of a guy stabbing himself in the neck. It was.
I did it all wrong. Screaming.
Yeah. It was that. It was the visceral diarrhea on the road too. Like, that was bad. I mean, there's a lot here. In terms of gore and violence. And I mean, it definitely, accentuates the kind of reality of it. I think is maybe part of why they kind of made it so visceral, especially that, we talked about that first kill of like, oh, reality settles in that, like, it's not a joke. Like, you keep walking, or you're gonna get your ticket punched.
You had like the one guy that like eventually like takes all of his clothes off and runs forward and like
and he runs off the road and
Oh, and then there's the one that like the guy that breaks his ankle. He definitely like goes for a while, obviously, and then there's There's another kid that like I think runs off the road, but like seems to have blisters or like blood around his ankles as well too.
There was something along those lines. Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Blisters, I think, would be the thing for me. I was talking about this earlier. I think I'd blister up real quick, and then well, then like Ray's like barefoot for like 100 miles or some shit like that as well too. I was like, that dude's gonna be down to the bone.
The only thing in this movie where I was like, oh, I think this should happen, and it didn't. I was like, after he loses his shoes, I think they're down to like 5 or 6. There are 2 people that decide they're gonna give up, and I would have been like, wait, toss me your shoes. Real quick.
Like Stebbins has a pair of shoes on his back,
right.
That was the other thing. I was like, is he gonna try and get these shoes on in like the time it takes to get warnings, kind of thing? Yeah, man. I just want to like again give like the shout out of like the recognition of the like the releasing of information, like that whole first bit where they don't stop at night, and like then like that kind of sequence of events afterwards. All of that's just so good. Where you as a viewer are like, okay, well, here's what I'm expecting, and oh no, this is not at all what I was expecting. Oh no, it's so much worse. Is just good storytelling. Yeah, I'm excited to see what these guys do next. It might be Francis Lawrence's best movie.
It's up there. I mean, I think the Hunger Games, especially Catching Fire, is a really good. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I think it's a really good movie. But yeah, it's up there for the ones of his that I've seen. It's definitely better than Red Sparrow. I want to reiterate, not a good movie. I do not enjoy that movie at all.
Yeah, I never liked that one that much.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there, for sure.
Top 10 for you.
No, I mean this is better. Yeah.
I also thought he meant Red Sparrow for a second.
No. As far as like what he's done, it's definitely up there.
Is it up there for Stephen King adaptations? Is the question.
I think of the ones I've seen, it's got to be maybe the best.
Yeah, there's a long list of that, right? But from what I've seen, and I haven't read any of the novels, but maybe it's one of the better films I've seen for sure.
I mean, you got The Shining. That's
of course, yeah.
And then you got
you have It, right?
It's there. Yeah.
You have your is Poltergeist?
Poltergeist, not.
Is
Stephen.
that
no
Stephen King? Okay, I don't know why I thought it is.
Steven Spielberg.
Isn't there another like? Okay, isn't there another like 70s or like 80s like thriller horror? That's from Stephen King?
You got
really big.
You got lots. You got Cujo, Christine. You got let's see what else we got out there. Well, let's look at my bookshelf. We got where's my King? The Shining, It, Doctor Sleep. No, that's an older or a newer one. Christine, Cujo, Carrie, Dead Zone. No, that's not really.
I could be thinking of Carrie. Could very well be Carrie because that's been fucking replicated. But then you also like 3 times.
You also forget he's got his like not horror ones. Green Mile, Shawshank Redemption. I mean, those are huge movies as well too.
I mean, as far as Francis goes, I know we're talking about King now, but I mean, just looking back on I know what Blake mentioned, Constantine. And then I totally forgot he did I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Oh, wow. I've totally forgot about that too.
I Am Legend's the one I was thinking about for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Cool. All right. Well, we're starting to run a little long on time.
Sorry, boys.
Let's move on out of. Oh, no, all good. We're going to move on out of spoilers. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and throw up The Long Walk up upon our Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of all the movies we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all in one fantastic list. It's essentially how we rate our movies. Rather than do it out of 5 stars out of 10, we throw up all the movies we review on a list and see how they compare to one another and see how they compare into different tiers. Once they are ranked, the movie will fall into one of 7 tiers. Of course, we go S, A, B, C, D, F, and then of course the movies that are so bad, you have to ask, are they laundering money to make this? Let's see. This is episode 252, Palindrome episode. Awesome.
Oh,
Did you guys get it all 250, or did you guys even realize it was 250 for caught stealing?
don't think we did.
No, yeah, we totally clawed it out, celebrated it. We did
Awesome.
confetti cannons. It was crazy.
There was
Word,
the confetti
word.
cannons.
That's awesome.
Wow, this
Alright,
one's
episode
really got
252.
a wild variation among the people I follow on Letterboxd. I've got a couple 2s, couple 2.5s,
Whoa.
and then some other folks with like 4s, 4.5s as well too. So
Well, if you followed me on Letterboxd, which I know you do, Nathaniel,
I do
know,
indeed.
you would have seen that I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars.
I did see that.
Yeah, and listeners, if you want a sneak peek at my reviews each week, you can follow me on Letterboxd at Aish. That's AYYSH. This is a tough one because we have so many good movies. I want to put this higher than I think it's gonna go, but I don't.
It's
I'm gonna
weird,
just see-
man.
like I don't know if this is one that's gonna age super well.
Yeah,
like,
that's
talk
kinda-
about the
just
long walk in 4
rate
or
it,
5
man. You
years.
gotta
That's
rate it
kinda
how you
what
feel
I'm
today.
feeling too, though. Yeah, but at the same time, I understand Blake's point. This is the joy.
That's the beauty of it.
This is the ecstasy. This is the agony, folks. This is
For sure.
This is what we
Sure.
do. This is why we do what we do. This is sports. This is ESPN. Sorry. This is in my mid-thousands commercial mode there.
So I mean, I guess ultimately, do you how you guys break down your list? Do you guys think it's an A tier movie?
So S tier, A tier, right? Where does A tier end?
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yes, Top Gun Maverick. Nathaniel said S tier. That already kind of threw me.
No. Sorry,
Nathaniel's high.
I was just going through the tier list again for myself.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out S tier, A tier. Where were we?
Gotcha. B tier ends. What's that? B tier ends The Notebook.
Yeah, 151.
Mm.
This is tough because there's definitely a range I'm looking at that I like want to put it on the higher end of that range, and then I see a couple movies that make me question that.
Why can I not see things? Why are my eyes not working?
I think I know where I'm gonna
I
go.
can
This is
that
actually
for you.
fucking tough.
Dude, it's
Ty,
really tough.
let it rip, man.
After kind of just combing over some things, one of the big things I look at is like 28 weeks later. I love that franchise.
Mm.
I look at anything above that, and that's where a lot of like bangers start to come out. I mean, I can't stop. I still talk about Superman. Redline's up there. Inside Out 2 killed it, and then you get into like nostalgia things like A Knight's Tale, and then again you just go further than that. So I think I'm gonna cap it pretty somewhere close to kind of 28 weeks later. It might even fall a little bit more, just because now we have like things like Weapons in there, which I think was just a killer movie for what came out this year. And then again, you have the other side of that, where the nostalgia kicks in. You got The Descent, which is just another top tier horror movie.
Hell yeah,
for us. Not that this is considered horror, but it is in a sense. So I think I'm gonna split Bad Boys and Challengers. I think I'm gonna go 123.
So off of that,
Not a bad spot.
I think I also have a ranking. I am going to be higher than Tyler, even though there are several bangers in there. However, there's a movie on this list that I think I'll remember in a similar vein, where a smart script makes a lot more out of a small idea than might initially be there. And that movie is Coherence. So I'm gonna put this below Coherence. I'm gonna put this at 99. Below Coherence, above Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. For context, that puts it below Superman for Tyler, but above F1 and Mickey 17 this year. I think there's some movies below it that I could justifiably put above this for maybe like my time at the theaters, but like I gotta say, like there's something about this movie that like I have been coming back to. Maybe it's the performances. Like, man, if Cooper Hoffman has like 80% of the talent his dad did, that boy's going to be one to watch. I think David Johnson could really do some really cool stuff in the future. I'm very excited to see what JT Mulner does based off of this script and what I've heard from Strange Darling and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm gonna go there for this guy.
Okay, Adam.
I think that puts him B tier for me.
Yeah, you are B tier. Yeah, B tier ends at 151.
Okay, so that's
it's
upper
B tier for you and Ty.
Upper B tier. I think that's where I am. It's a B tier with a heart. If we were doing Letterboxd.
Yeah, I got you.
Terms.
That's funny.
Yeah, this is such a tough. This B tier is so tough for me in terms of like my order for this B tier is so different than what we have here, where I'm looking at like, La La Land at 119. Obviously, I wouldn't even have that in the B tier. But I look at like Malignant, Barbarian, and like the bottom middle, and those need to be moved up. And then I see some ones that need to be moved down. I mean, it's hard. I think I am in this B tier. It's just I'm trying to figure out where exactly. Blake, do you have your ranking? Do you want to go ahead and give that?
I mean, I think I was floating between A and B tier, but I think it's honestly hard for me, man. But I did enjoy this. It's one that over time I felt like over digesting it right for 48 hours per se. Felt like I liked it more, as I echoed earlier in the podcast. But going to look at it here when I'm starting comparing it to some things, there's some horror movies here in this high B tier, right? We said that starts right after Top Gun Maverick. And there's some films where I think I would actually put this above. And right now, where I'm looking at right now is this like 100 range. The 101s to like the 120s range.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at.
And it's hard though, man, because of everything, movies always get swallowed behind it, right? So like there's Weapons, there's Descent that I think is way too low. The Descent part of me. Mutant Mayhem. I think where I'm going though, fellas, I think I'm gonna let it rip, and just because this one's kind of seems like an oddball to me. And I'm actually gonna go 116. And I'm gonna go above
116.
Reign of Fire, below Predator.
Okay.
So Fallen Soldier is like The Descent, absolutely a Fallen Soldier, for the sake of the podcast.
Sure.
But I mean, outside of that, it's like
we've talked about it. The Descent, we're slowly moving up.
Yeah.
As we go.
I'm with it. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I'm gonna go 116. Could debatably put this above 28 Weeks Later, like if being fair, but you gotta let me rewatch this in 28 weeks. I'll give you a better answer.
I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm gonna go with my gut and of where I wanted to put this when I first looked at this list, and I'm gonna put it at 102, below Mickey 17 and above Good Will Hunting.
There it is.
With the major amendment of that being Weapons at 121. I don't know how
that's
that's all
crazy.
the way down there.
I
don't know how that got there. I don't know how that got there. I think I'll have to go back and listen to that episode because someone's responsible for it, and it's not me.
It's Blake.
We
all know.
So I'll go at 102 with Weapons, which is currently still probably my movie of the year, being the major asterisks on that. But generally speaking, I think that's my good ranking, and I don't want to overthink it. So with that being said, we get a flat even 110 average ranking, which means we have to tie break with District 9 before I go to.
Oh, that's tough.
before I
like
go
District
to
9.
IMDb for a tiebreaker,
That's lit.
do we want to decide?
I don't think I can
do.
do it over District 9, fellas. I don't. If that's the movie it's going head to head with, I don't think I can, fellas. I'm sorry.
I'm cool with that. I love District 9.
Yeah. Nathaniel,
I
the world is in your hands. Or Adam.
Well, I'd put this above District 9 personally. I like that movie a lot, but I don't have.
All right.
I didn't see it when it came out, and I don't have as much nostalgia for it.
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah.
I think this movie is. I just enjoy this movie
I
better overall. But
weirdly think that they'll be kind of. I don't mind it. I'm gonna go with the older boys here. I'm gonna throw.
Doesn't
my
matter because
vote.
even if it went to IMDb, we would have won anyways. District 9 is a 7.9 and Long Walk 7.4.
District 9 is a 7.9. Wow.
People really like that movie, man.
Yeah, that's way higher than I thought it'd be. Wow. That is a good movie, though.
So suck eggs, Adam.
yeah, whatever. All right, Long Walk at 111.
You're
Below District 9 and above Nightmare Alley, a movie that
Great
would
movie.
be moved outside the A tier. or
I'm
B
pretty
tier.
sure Nathaniel and I both bought that little box set from Nick Blomkamp
Yeah,
when
yeah,
that
yeah.
came out at Best Buy.
Yeah, we do.
That's awesome.
I am Chappie.
Um,
I am alive.
I'll cry right now. Stop.
that lands the Long Walk in B tier. That Long Walk is in B tier. Seal it in, pack it up. Our next review will be the movie Him, produced by Mr. Jordan Peele.
Who's the director on that?
Someone we don't know.
I don't.
I
remember.
figured
It's a newer.
once everyone
director,
learned it was
too.
produced by Jordan Peele, they were like, well, who the fuck is directing?
Yeah, it's just
I don't know either.
Justin Tipping.
I
who
mean,
I'm not super familiar.
definitely
with, and I
people
don't think he
in the
has- yeah, he
theaters-
doesn't have a ton of credits.
People in the theaters that I've seen the commercial all think it's Jordan Peele that are directing.
Oh, of
Yes.
course.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it is. The trailer really makes you think it's a Jordan Peele movie. And it, he's attached to it. He's got his name on it by producing it. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying, he's, blameless if this movie's terrible, but at the same time, it's not a Jordan
I think
Peele
it seems
movie.
interesting.
It does seem interesting to me, and I'll have my prediction here so that we can check this back
Ooh.
next week. I think this is a movie where the first half is really interesting and that's a really cool concept, but then the last act it really falls off and it turns
Yeah.
out like it doesn't fully stick the landing of like what you think it's going to be in the first half.
Yeah, I could
That is my
see this fitting
prediction.
that scope
Yeah,
for sure.
That's my prediction. I think we're really gripped in the first half and then it kind of just falls off a little bit and doesn't stick the landing fully.
I think Marlon Wayans is playing the same character from Scary Movie.
Speaking of that, I seen they're making a Scary Movie 6.
Of course
Anybody
they
see that?
are. No, I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
And he's down for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
no, like seriously, I seen like he's
It's
like,
about
yeah, I
time.
think
It's,
him
I
and
mean,
his brother are like,
yeah.
we want to get back to directing and everything. So I don't think it's gonna be
you
like
know, let the
the
cheap
boys
cash
cash
have it.
grab.
Yeah, it's gonna be them doing A24 is what it's gonna be.
Yeah. That's absolutely what it is for sure. They're gonna hit all the modern
100%
movies. But yeah, it should be funny.
If they're going that route, then I have to see White Chicks too.
Oh, dude, White Chicks, such a classic
Wow.
movie. Honestly, one of the funniest movies of all time,
It's incredible.
for sure. Adam, have you seen White Chicks?
No.
Or is that not like your age
And
bracket?
I've,
Oh
I've
my
not,
God,
and I've
you've
never
never
seen
seen
any
White
of the
Chicks?
scary movies.
Top tier.
Wow.
Yeah, the scary movies. And what about Undercover Brother? Just add that.
Yeah, that's- It's almost more
Anyway.
surprising he's never seen like White Chicks over any. I mean, I guess the
Scary
first two
movies.
scary movies are classic.
Huge.
Right? The
White
first two
Chicks.
are super classic.
But like, yeah, scary
This-
movies definitely feel like.
Did
an
you hear
older-
this? This guy doesn't even know what White Chicks is. He said, "What is White Chicks?" He had to Google
It's
it.
fucking insane. It's the Wayans brothers doing Whiteface, White Body.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had Robert Downey Jr. do it, and then we've just never got it again.
Well,
so just the
Well,
world.
not,
just
not
across
true.
the
I don't know
world.
if you've seen this. Drewski just did like fucking full blown White Body on the
I did see
internet.
that though.
Did you ever see,
the NASCAR
uh,
skit? Hilarious.
Fucking
For sure.
Did you ever
For
see,
sure.
Did you guys ever see the old Eddie Murphy? I think it's SNL skits where he's Mr. White and he does
Ooh.
whiteface.
I'd have to look into that. I don't know. Eddie Murphy is funny, but I do think his brother is actually funnier than him. Rest in peace.
Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was back when Eddie Murphy was on SNL. He does Mr. White, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure he looks like my dad. Just a white dude with a mustache.
Yeah, that's funny. Adam, did you find out what White Chicks was?
Yeah, I did.
Look familiar to you at all? Have you seen it ever?
I've heard of it. I just
It's time to rock around you, rock around. It's tricky.
It's tricky.
Rain. What? Okay, but now when is this? Okay, so is this the Kendrick Lamar lyric? Or I think it's Baby Keem, where he's like, "We're not." What is it?
That's hilarious, Nathaniel.
Is that the
That's
Eddie Murphy skit?
Eddie Murphy,
yeah,
Mr.
Yeah,
White.
I've seen that.
No, I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
I'm gonna watch that tonight. It's got to be a YouTube clip somewhere for sure.
Has to be.
That's funny.
Oh, wait,
I'm about to have a total BF. What's that?
Yeah, right.
It's a bitch fit.
Yeah.
Fucking
Wow.
dude,
But I mean, I guess it makes sense though. What year is White Chicks? Probably like 2000.
Okay, this
Gotta be.
makes sense
Yeah.
now. All right.
I love the part where they're in the room and their boss comes in. Their like sergeant or their captain or whatever, and she just goes, "What a beautiful chocolate man!" What the fuck? I'll fucking die, dude. That movie's incredible.
Yeah,
I
that
love
movie
in the
is honestly
beginning.
timeless.
The beginning where they're fucking playing like those Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
In the ice cream shop, Guatemala. I'll fucking die, bro.
Yeah. What's actually sad is that movie. So 2004, right? Is White Chicks. Rotten Tomatoes 15%, IMDb 5.9. Atrocious.
Wow. What's the
this
audience
movie is
score?
ranked that low.
What's the audience score though?
On what, Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Audience.
I would hope it's.
Audience has got to be
I would
way
hope
higher.
it's decently high.
Maybe it's too old. Maybe they don't have one.
55%.
Okay.
But yeah, timeless. Absolutely timeless, man.
Hear you.
All right. Plugs.
Yeah. We're running long on time, so I don't want to do a big what we're watching or anything. We got plenty to watch out there. Anyway, thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. You're our favorite type listener, and we really do appreciate it. Want to do us a favor, share the podcast, share with a friend, a family member, maybe another friend who you're going on a walk with. You like walking? Well, you should
Walk with me a while.
Passing time. Yeah, walk a while. Pass the time with the podcast or two from Back Row Banter. While you're doing that, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Banter Row, on YouTube, or Back Row Banter, and our email is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com if you want to send us one of those. You can find me on Letterboxd at Aish and on Twitter at Aish24. That's AYYSH. I will send it on over to Mr. Tyler Vidalis. Where can the people find you at, my man?
Instagram, Letterboxd, and X, all Tyler Vidalis, BIDALES, Blake.
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder, beyond their logs of things rated out of 5 stars. I believe I gave The Long Walk 3.5. I want to say, so I was not the person Nathaniel was referencing at the 2 stars.
Nope.
PSN, Mr. Watercoolers, Xbox, Mr. Watercoolers. Adam?
That kicked us off. I think you're it.
I'm on last.
Nathaniel. It's Nathaniel.
Pardon me,
Nathaniel go?
Nathaniel.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Letterboxd and Blue Sky at NSKingrick at NathanielG92. Be excellent to each other, everyone. And BRB.
America. Ready for another Another lesson.
Yeah.
No,
And we're
bro.
all like,
No,
that guy's
NFL
old as
years
fuck.
though.
Now
Oh, yeah,
now
he's
recording.
Football years, that's
For sure.
ancient.
Now recording, by the way.
Okay.
I got you. Thank you.
But yeah, he's probably on his way out. You would have to think, right?
I mean,
You would want to think.
you would just think like
Yeah,
you just got you.
Well.
There's someone younger and hungrier than you right now,
Yeah.
and you gotta be the one to push that out of the way when you got all that other stuff going on in your life. Sorry, man, football's not your top priority anymore.
And there's nothing wrong with it because he's still going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's still one of the greatest tight ends of all time, right? Like Father Time catches
Yeah,
everybody eventually.
You just hang
Can't
Might
do
have
on.
caught-
anything about it.
Might have caught Canelo.
No, I mean, easy.
Transition.
Might have also caught Canelo, right? Like Father Time is undefeated, as we all say. And one day you're going to wake up, it's going to catch LeBron James as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and to segue to other sports, like the boxing Father Time, which
Well, first
I
of
don't know if
all,
anyone caught that. Well, me
Father
and Nathaniel were kind
Time
of shooting the shit about that beforehand.
and
Crazy.
Father Time and Bud Crawford just being. I mean, just what do you say at this
Yeah.
point, man? That man's.
Yeah.
He's one of the greats of his generation, at the very least.
Absolutely. And I'm not super versed in boxing and
Me
kind
either.
of like history and things of that nature, but to my understanding, this is one of the more impressive feats in a very, 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 very long time in the
Yeah.
boxing world, right? Where essentially you have a champion who's going up basically 3 weight classes
Mhm.
to fight somebody else, right? To fight another champion,
Yeah,
and he beats him, right? That's unheard of in boxing.
I mean, a guy who had been dominant for a long time as well too, and like was, I guess, also would be considered on equal ground. Like they're 1A, 1B, I think, of around. I think technically, Bud Crawford's actually older than him, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
Yeah. We talked about that briefly beforehand. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's wild, and I mean, Canelo did used to fight lighter, so I think that's the other thing too. I think he's like he's even up from where he used to be as well. But like, I don't know, man. Bud Crawford looked amazing. That was a crazy fight.
Yeah.
It was like he couldn't even like there wasn't a doubt either. Like it wasn't a knockout or anything like that. But it was like, you didn't have really. I don't think anyone scored it for Canelo, right?
No, I think it was a clean
Yeah.
sweep.
So,
Yeah. And you could tell just like kind of from the eye test from like my
that was
lousy boxing knowledge, right? I was like, oh, like Canelo just doesn't look like he's winning this, or it looks like he even has a chance to win this.
Well,
right?
you could see him get like frustrated at points. It was almost like he was just like, damn, like that,
sure.
motherfucker, he got me again. Like,
And those are signs like you usually don't want to display, right? In sports,
definitely
right?
not.
So once you start seeing that, I'm like, oh, I don't think he's going to be able to
Especially
come back from this.
out of him too. Like,
Yeah,
I mean that being said, I still watched the whole fight like clinched. I
me
thought
too,
at
for
certain
sure.
points like he was just gonna something was gonna change. He was just gonna crack him, but man, that dude's crazy.
Masterclass by Buck Crawford on that, like for sure. That's one of the more impressive feats in sports that we've seen in a long time. But yeah, man, that was crazy.
He's always cool too. Like his career's great for a rewatch because he just basically knocks out everyone. Like before he moved up, like he was just killing dudes left and right.
Yeah, it's good. And I also like the humility Canelo has like after he wins, like very honorable. It's like, hey, he's giving all. Some people lose. I mean, the cliche thing, people lose and turn into sore losers. But like, no, Canelo's like, hey, like, no, he's a great fighter. He's an all-time great, right? It's like, I can't say anything. I tip my hat to him, and then you just like to see stuff like that, instead of people losing and just start making excuses and shit. You see too much of that.
The 50 mil probably helps a bit too.
Sure. And I thought he was getting more than that.
He probably
is.
I took a low ball.
I thought
there.
he was taking away 100+, like
he
win
is.
or lose.
Yeah, he definitely.
I think win
is.
was like $150.
Yeah, boxing's crazy.
I don't know what Crawford got with a win, but you'd have to imagine he was probably like 70-ish.
I think
60, 70-ish.
potentially 6 figs.
Jesus Christ.
Or sorry, 100.
9?
Potentially, 9 figs. Yeah.
Will it be 9 figures? Yeah.
Shows how much I'm.
Yeah, that was
never gonna
crazy.
get there.
Hell of a boxing night.
Weird because like that was basically a UFC broadcast. like in the way that like the main.
Well, I did see Dana White sitting there ringside.
So yeah, but like the main announcer, John Anik, he's the UFC announcer. Like he is the the play-by-play or commentary guy, not the actual announcer.
Okay.
The Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy. But
Yeah,
also
yeah.
like the pacing and the like you know how you can watch, you would be able to pick out a Fox Sports NFL broadcast just from the way that
Yeah.
like the camera work is and that kind of thing.
For sure.
That was the UFC team, and like my brain was like, oh, this is weird because like this is the UFC like production style and like camera editing and all of that kind of stuff. Like even like when they'd cut back to the desk and like everything, that was all like you could tell they used the UFC's production team to do all of that, which was really weird.
Interesting. Is there any word on like is Dana White trying to like take over?
Oh yeah, no,
like
it's
boxing. I can't imagine there's more money in it, right? Yeah.
No, he is. He's trying. Like this is the first event of Zuffa Boxing, so he's trying to basically use the UFC stream. What they're gonna okay, we're going a little bit off out into the weeds here, but do you know the Muhammad Ali Act?
I'm not entirely sure.
So the Ali Act basically means that the belts, the promotional belts, i.e. like the trophy, i.e. who is the best boxer in the world, are controlled by an independent body, and they're not controlled by the promoter. So it would be like if the UFC didn't have control of the championship, and that was because for the history of boxing, promoters could be like, we don't like you, you don't get to fight for the belt. Then Muhammad Ali got it changed in Congress so that they had to be separate. Dana White's trying to change that back so that he can have control over the belts.
That's lame.
Because his best friend's Donald Trump, and then they'll use the Saudi Arabia's money to fund the Zuffa Boxing, which will then run on the UFC model so that you won't have guys making $100 million for a fight. You'll have guys making $100,000 for a fight, and all the money will go to the promoter, i.e. what happens to the UFC right now. I think boxing revenue split is maybe 50-50. In the UFC, the fighters get 13% of the revenue.
That's sick. So is that why they had the I don't know the correct term? Are they sheiks? So is that why they had like the sheik gentleman sitting ringside?
So Turkey Al Sheikh.
I assume that's the guy who's like pretty much like basically funding boxing, like out of his ass.
So Turkey Al Sheikh is
Crazy amount of money.
like the right hand man of the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and about maybe 5 to 8 years ago now. I don't know my boxing history as well as I know my UFC stuff, but they basically started to fund and put the money forth for like the super fights of the heavyweights, i.e. like your Tyson Fury and Usyk.
Wilder.
And Wilder and all of those ones and those ones. So they've been basically funding boxing through that for the last few years. They bought Ring Magazine, which was like the biggest publication for a while and stuff, and they've been basically hosting
Ring Doorbell.
They bought Ring Doorbell off Amazon. That's crazy. So yeah, they've been basically like funding that for the last few years. It'll be interesting because apparently the Turkey Al Sheikh and Dana White already don't like each other. So it'll be interesting to see if that keeps going forward. But yeah, that's the current state of boxing and how Dana White's trying to get his nose in.
Yeah, once I saw him ringside, I was like, that can't be good, right, for the boxing world.
Yeah.
He's not a solid guy.